Good evening, everyone. I am so excited to welcome you back for day number 8 of our 12 Days of Autumn. My name is Clifford Dukes. I'm the Chief Operating Officer of Austin Urban Technology Movement, also known as AUTMHQ. Now, we are on day number 8, so I hope you are on the edge of your seat and you've been following us closely. Today, we are going to meet our volunteers and some more of our Automites. So I hope that you sit back and get prepared for a lovely conversation. At the end, I will return and talk a little bit more about the coming events for the rest of the 12 Days of Autumn. But for now, I'm going to welcome Tyler Rouse, our External Partnerships Coordinator, to the conversation. Hi, Tyler. How are you?
Hey, great to be back tonight. I'm doing well, Clifford. Thank
It
you.
feels like 24 hours hasn't just passed since we had this same conversation.
I know. Look at
But
us now.
I'm glad to see you back. You're looking well and
Thank you.
feeling well, better than as well as you can under the circumstances.
Right. Thank you.
So with that, I want to hand it off to you and have you welcome our first guest. And thank you for sharing your time with us. I look forward to coming back in a little bit.
Thanks, Clifford. So, tonight's conversation is near and dear to my heart because I too am a volunteer of Autumn HQ. So, tonight I get to speak to a group of volunteers as well as Automites that are going to talk to you about their journey with us. So, without further ado, I'd love to call up our first volunteer, and that is Eric Collier.
Hi.
Hey, Eric. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for joining us.
Pleased to be here.
Good, good, good. Well, I'm going to go ahead and start us off because we have a lot of people to talk to tonight. So please, if you could, just introduce yourself and share how you're connected with Autumn HQ.
Okay, I'm Eric Collier. I am in my professional life, I'm a coach, a developer of people. Let's see, how did I get connected with, I'm also with the 100 Black Men of Austin, and I met Michael, I don't know, seems like yesterday, but I'm sure it's like 3 years ago. And frankly, he blew me away with what he was doing. And so we communicated off and on over the past 3 years. And I was, so here's a brother, young brother who, because I'm old, see, so my time is past.
No, you're not.
But here's a young brother who's not sitting back waiting for something to happen.
Absolutely.
This is a young man who decided that he was the master of his own destiny, and so and he was going to do what he could to impact the destiny of others. And so that's how I got connected with Autumn.
I second that. I second that. I definitely think that Michael is definitely a man of action. So I love that he was able to connect with you with 100 Black Men of Austin. That's awesome. So just continuing the conversation, why are you an Autumn HQ volunteer?
Well, it's time. I'm in a time in my life where I need to give back. And I also, so in the 60s, I walked into a room quite literally at IBM where I was the only person who looked like me. And so over that period, over the last 50 plus years, I've had to navigate a world of people who don't look like me.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to share my experience to develop people to the extent that they could navigate. My motto is don't assimilate, navigate.
Nice.
Yeah, because when we assimilate, we give away our power, and I did way too much of that early on in my
Okay.
career.
No, I that's a gem. You really just dropped a gem right now. And also just talking about giving back and making sure that you're leaving the door open for the next person to come in is very important. So thank you for doing the work that you've been doing. So just to continue on, what do you enjoy most about volunteering with Autumn? Do you have anything, any like moment in time that you'd like to talk about?
Well, the multiple moments.
Mhm.
So my work is about developing our ability to skillfully use our minds to create the lives that we want. So, everybody's talented in some way, and my work is about amplifying that talent.
Mm. Yep.
Uh, and so, in learning how to deal with stress, learning how to be at your best when it's most important to be at your
Mm.
best, and that's not mysterious stuff. It takes practice if you're
Right.
going to be great at anything. And the thing I enjoy most is that there's a group of young people. One of them's going to talk to you this evening. It's a part of the workshop series that I do. They challenge me with questions, and what they don't know is that I'm a committed lifelong learner. So their challenging questions are opportunities for me to learn.
I love that.
So and sometimes, I mean, don't assimilate, navigate. That
Yep.
came out of one of those conversations
Really.
because I want our young people to recognize that they are enough,
Mm.
regardless of what the world might say to you.
Right.
You're here,
Yep.
which means that
Yeah.
you have strength and resilience that goes without saying. Now, what are you going to do?
Absolutely. I love that. I think our people, especially like BLNA, we've always been a people of resilience anyway. So I love that you're kind of bringing that back into like the forefront. Like, don't forget, I guess, your roots, or just, what is already innately inside of you. Also, not to embarrass this person, but who are you speaking about? Who's telling you?
I'll let her say whether or not she wants to say
Okay.
who she is, and maybe she'll comment about the workshops. I don't know.
Okay. All right. I'll see if I can get it out of someone.
We have a confidentiality agreement in the workshop, so
Okay.
we don't divulge those kinds of things.
All right. Got you. So, what do you hope results from your volunteering with AUTMHQ going into 2020?
Well, this is a qualitative thing.
Mm.
I want the folks who participate in the work that we do together, and we really do the work together. I want them to trust themselves absolutely. Confidence comes from trust and
Okay.
trust in oneself. And if you trust yourself, you don't have to worry about anybody else. I also want them to be able to pursue their dreams and to be able to handle themselves in interviews for the work that they want to do. I also want them to discover what really excites them and pursue the work that they want to do. And the happiest people I know are the people who love the work that they're doing. They're doing it like work. I happen to be one of them, and I know what that feels like. And I want everybody to feel that way. And I want them to go into interviews not just showing people how smart they are, but making sure that the people on the other side of the desk are as smart as the people they want to work with.
That's real.
So, and because you're interviewing them as well. And you
Exactly.
want to ask them the questions to make sure that you're not going from the frying pan into the hot water, but you're going into an environment that
Yes.
where you will be supported and you can contribute and you can do the work that you love to do.
That is absolutely right. It is definitely a two-way street when you're interviewing. And also, I know for me personally, just going into an interview and feeling confident about what is actually on my resume and also the things that aren't on my resume, just being able to talk to them because I know my experience better than anyone else, right? So, thank you so much for dropping these gems, Eric. I really appreciate you coming on tonight and speaking with us. But yeah, we actually have to move on to the next person. So I really appreciate you. And actually, next, we're going to have another volunteer. We're going to have Morgan Burgess joining us this, excuse me, this evening. Hey, Morgan.
Hey Tyler, how's it going? Can you hear me okay?
I can. How are you doing?
I can't complain. It's a beautiful Tuesday and we are during, autumn's 12 days of Christmas, so it's always a great time of year.
Exactly. Thank you so much for joining us. I can't wait to dive in to your volunteer experience with Autumn. But first, could you please just introduce yourself and share how you're connected with Autumn HQ?
Yes, so hey friends, Autumn community, my name is Morgan Burgess. I am a volunteer with Autumn. I've been volunteering since 2019, had a few different roles within the Autumn um, staff or Autumn volunteer community, and am now volunteering with Autumn from Dallas, where I work as product manager in success and delivery for Goldman Sachs.
Love that. Thank you so much for sharing. And then, of course, how are you connected with Autumn HQ?
Autumn HQ has my heart. I am a volunteer, been working closely with Michael since he has taken the reins and grown Autumn to be the amazing organization, Autumn HQ, the amazing organization that it is.
Love it. Love it. Thank you so much. And just wondering, like, why are you an Autumn HQ volunteer? Like, what is your why?
I'm sorry, just one sec.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry about that, Autumn community.
No
Tyler, could
problem.
you ask me the question
Yeah,
again? I'm so sorry about that.
no, you're perfectly fine. I was just wondering, like, what is your why? What made you join Autumn HQ as a volunteer? What is keeping you around?
One thing in life motto that I have is use your powers for good. I have a
Ooh, I think your sound.
What was that, Tyler?
Oh, sorry, your sound cut out for me for a second. I'm not sure if it did for
Oh,
the
sorry
audience.
about that.
No problem.
As you all can see, I am a Black woman, and there are not a lot of us in tech. We are a growing and strong population. Yes, sisters, but there aren't a lot. And didn't see a lot of mentors. There weren't a lot of opportunities for us to get our roots in, to have those vulnerable moments of, I've never been here before. I don't know what questions I need to ask or what the access points are for the different parts of the technology industry. And seeing that Autumn really has that at its core to say, hey, friends, we'll meet you where you are. We're
Mhm.
here to serve you to get into any aspect of technology that you find, that piques your fancy, and building out programs, building out initiatives, and serving the community to actually target those specific needs and bridging those gaps. And seeing how Autumn has done that throughout the years continues to be my why and the coals on my fire to continue to make sure that we increase access, we increase the number of faces and hearts and minds like ours, whether they be Black, brown, and even our white allies, but mainly and more importantly, making sure that those of us that haven't had the platform or haven't had the focus and the intentionalness from different organizations do get that attention, do get those resources, and do find that it is easier than we think to get in and thrive and really make our mark.
Absolutely. Yes. Getting in and thriving. So I love how you were saying that access is everything, something that AUTMHQ is definitely putting at the forefront of their mission. Transferable skills, like I kind of said last night, talking to some of our ERG partners, you can literally access tech in any form or fashion. You don't have to have a technical background at all to get into tech. So you're absolutely spot on with that. So just to continue, like, what do you enjoy most about being a volunteer with AutomHQ?
I love that volunteering with Autumn HQ allows me to use my powers for good.
Mm,
I am self-taught thanks to a blessing of wonderful mentors, Google being a really great resource,
love it.
and some other online courses and resources. But really, really getting in and seeing the impact that I can
Mm,
make with what I know, being able to be an expert, and
mhm,
have the experience, because an expert doesn't mean all the time that I have 15 years of hard coding experience. Being an expert sometimes means I've experienced this in a way that you haven't. I have
mhm.
experienced this and you haven't. So I really love that Autumn allows its volunteers to say, here's where my skill sets lie, here's where my passions lie, and allows us to serve in that sweet spot.
Love it. Absolutely. I love that. And just to wrap this up with you, what are your hopes that will result from your volunteer efforts going into 2022?
I hope, one, through my volunteer efforts, I used to serve as Vice President of Technology for Autumn HQ. And
Mhm.
now Autumn is in the wonderful, capable hands of their broad tech team. I hope to personally continue to empower them so that they can continue to help Autumn shine as they've taken the reins, and continue to get more volunteers in, because that means we're building that pipeline. We
Yep.
aren't just meeting people where they are and giving them the resources, we're empowering them, and empowering them enough to the point that they feel that they can give back and complete the cycle. So that's what I'm hoping to see going into the next year.
I'm really excited to see how your mission comes to fruition next year. But thank you so much for joining us, Morgan. And with that, I'm actually going to turn it over to our first Automite of the night, and that will be Jarrin Banks. So, Jarrin, thank you so much for joining us tonight. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you,
Good,
Tyler.
good. So, please introduce yourself and tell us how you got involved with Autumn HQ.
Yes, my name is Jarrin Banks. I actually got involved. Uh, One of the program managers, Issa White, was doing a presentation with Texas Workforce Commission,
Hmm.
and I was just impressed. And um, I'd recently been laid off. I've worked in tech, but I recently was laid off back when the pandemic first kind of hit. And I actually had kind of turned that around and started my own kind of IT consulting business.
Love that.
And I realized that I wanted to get some certifications. And I just said that to myself. And then I got on this presentation, and then Issa's sitting there talking about this program where they help people get training and certifications. And so I just connected directly with her. And that's where, and it just went uphill from there. So that's what got me connected.
Love it. I love that you were proactive. Again, I hate that you lost your job over the pandemic, but at the same time, I'm really glad that you were able to turn that around and become an entrepreneur for yourself. And again, just being that proactive person. Um, so, why are you joining? Well, what made you want to join the Automite program? Was it just the certifications or?
Well, yeah, initially, I saw the opportunity for me to be able to take a certification, get into one of the partner courses that they had, um, be able to have support. And then I had that conversation with Issa, and it was so many more things than I thought, right? It was connection to a network. It was many other learning platforms that they continually give access to. Like, I mean, every month it seems like there's something new that comes in. Um, and then it was a spark. Like, it just reawakened my ability to say, hey, I want to learn new things, but I can do it. Um, And then I just felt supported. It was the first time. I've been in technology for a while, and like some of the other guests have said, it's kind of been like just me maneuvering through these different companies and kind of trying to keep myself intact and then try to maneuver through that career. And so I felt like, hey, this is the first time that I've had like real support from people who actually look like me and who kind of want to see me succeed. So I think all those things came together, but the initial thing was I was looking out for myself, right? And said, hey, I can get this certification.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. No, I love that. No, I definitely feel like Autumn is like a for us, by us type of environment. So I love that she felt supported. And again, having that like bias for action to actually get out there and like be proactive and get those certifications. So what do you enjoy most about being an Automite?
the training I really enjoy that. And I enjoy the ability to be able to have access to different types of training. And at the click of a button, basically I can, there's an app, I can go on my phone and I can do training, but there's also soft skills. I've enjoyed that as well. Like there's entrepreneurial lessons, there's TED Talks that they link to. I'm one of those people that just like, I'm constantly learning. Like I like to learn, and
Nice.
I've self-taught myself. So I really enjoy that. And the fact that they're tracking it and keeping track of your hours. And then there's ability for you to, get certifications and things like that. So to me, it kind of creates like a university environment, but you're kind of doing it at your own pace. So I really enjoyed that. I really enjoy that the most, but then also the networking is really good. And I'll share a celebration is they connected me with another group that connected me with a startup. And I just started with that company on Monday.
Congratulations.
So it was a great opportunity. And it was something where I turned down a lot of other positions because I was looking for that thing that really matched what I wanted to do and what I love to do. And I was able to get that involved. So I feel like they helped prepare me for that, but also gave me that connection. So it's one thing to have training, but it's another thing when people are actually making those connections for you to say, hey, here's a good person, right? And so that's also what I love about Autumn is the networking and the connection to opportunities.
Absolutely. I'm so happy. Like, again, congratulations on that new opportunity. But yes, networking is key because honestly, like you said, it's really sometimes it's not about what you know, it's about who you know. So when you have something like AUTMHQ where you're getting those hard and soft skills, and then you're also getting that network, like that's awesome. And just to wrap this up with you, in what ways have you grown as a result of being a significant part of the AUTMHQ community as an Automite?
I think I've reignited my just love for learning. I was already learning, but I think I really got back into, because you get into tech. And so my story is a little different than maybe some others where I've been in tech for a while. And I think people think that once you get into tech, like it's like once you're in, you just go. Well, what happens is technology is changing so constantly that you can actually go down one path and realize that's the path you don't want to go down. And that's what happened to me. And so I kind of have to back up, right? And then there's a challenge of, well, can I do this? And, can I make this shift this late? And so that reignited my ability to say, hey, you know what, I can shift and learn new things. And then it allowed me to really focus and figure out what it was that I really wanted to connect to. So I think just my love for learning and also that focus, right, of, hey, this is the way I'm going is what I've gained the most from working with Autumn.
No, I love that. It sounds like you definitely have more intentionality as well. So that's so important in your career, just honestly, any decisions that you're making. So congratulations. I love that for you. And thank you so much for joining us tonight, Jarrin.
Thank you.
So next I'm going to call Nawit's Luskid. She is also another Automite.
Hello.
Hi. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for joining us.
Of course.
Yeah,
Thanks
so
for having me.
no problem. So, of course, got us get it started. Can you just introduce us to yourself and
Yeah,
let us know how you got connected with
yeah,
AUTMHQ?
sure. Of course. So my name is Mawich Lutsagad, and I joined the Autumn community at the end of this summer. And I'm connected to Autumn through their UI/UX Google Certificate program, the various resume sessions with Kaylee, and Eric's mindset and mental health sessions. And big shout out to my mentor who actually encouraged me to apply and get connected.
Love it. See, again, networking. Um, so why are you, well, yeah, why are you joining us as an Automite? Like, what is keeping you in the program? And yeah, tell us about that.
Yeah, of course. So about like 2 years ago, I knew that I had an interest in technology as well as health. So I have like a lot of public health experience, but didn't really necessarily like know how to go about it. So I knew that I kind of like needed a space that allowed me to like authentically tap into like learning while also like networking and getting that professional development service. And I started locally at my Apple store, and that kind of confirmed to me that I love like the problem solving aspect of tech and like creatively finding solutions for customers. So when I heard about Automites, like programs to learn more about UI/UX design while also getting that like mentorship and overall support, I knew that that's something that I wanted to continue to build on my end. And just like from my first session with Isa, I kind of knew that like Autumn was committed to really making sure that we're like thriving and making the best decision for our next step. So I knew that was like the best fit.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. So, keeping on with it, what do you enjoy most about being an Automite?
Yeah. I knew that when I wanted to make this pivot, I think like learning and community is something really important to me. So I like that we have like a lot of like sessions and areas to really get vulnerable and like ask ourselves those like hard questions about like what is it that I truly want? Like where do I see myself? I think being able to be around like other peers who had similar goals as me and like having different study sessions and
Hmm.
feeling like empowered in those moments was what was most important to me because I've been able to like really build authentic relationships while also like figuring out what I want to focus on and being able to network with folks. So that's been great, as well as like their overall easily accessible services. So like from their mobile app to their resume sessions with Kaylee, I've met with Kaylee like so much and been able to easily like tap into the Autumn like network and all the resources. So that's been really amazing.
Awesome. Thank you. And just to end this up with you, in what ways have you grown as a result of being a significant part of the Autumn HQ community?
Yeah, I think I've gained like so much more clarity and confidence on pursuing the product in UI/UX space. I felt very like overwhelmed in the summer, like just having so many different options and not necessarily knowing like how to go about with my next steps. I just recently started a contract position with Concentric by Ginkgo Bioworks as like a COVID startup for elementary schools and have really felt like it's a really good fit. And I feel like without Autumn and that resume like support and networking and like interviewing practice, I don't feel like I would like be where I am today. And I although I'm still like in the project management space at this company now, when I'm trying to figure out the next opportunity within product, I feel like a lot more empowered and informed on like making the best step and like the next decision.
No, I love that. And congratulations on your new role. That's
Thank
awesome.
you. Thank
Uh,
you. Thank you.
yeah, thank you so much for joining us, Moeeds. I really appreciate you. And actually,
Of
I'm going
course.
to call up on one of our volunteers, Kaylee Burton, since you
Hiya.
were shouted out. So, yeah, welcome, Kaylee. How are you?
I'm good. I'm a little nervous, not going to lie, but I'm really happy to be here.
I don't bite. Don't be nervous. So yeah, just do me a favor and introduce yourself, and then share how you're connected with AUTMHQ. But before you do that, I just want to remind everyone on the session to please turn your cameras on because I'm just going to be calling people at random for the rest of the night. But yes, all right, Kaylee. So please take it away.
Yeah, I'm Kaylee Burton. I got connected to AUTMHQ actually through work. I work at National Instruments, which is a partner of AUTMHQ, and I found out about this amazing organization at a volunteer info session where Michael was out and I think Clifford was too. So I got to learn a lot about, the mission and I wanted to be part of this. I want to help people. I wanted to support people get into the industry, and I felt like I could, do that.
Love that. Thank you so much. And my next question for you is, why are you still an AUTMHQ volunteer? What is keeping you with us?
Oh, that's easy. That's the Automites. They are super passionate about what they're doing, what they're learning. They are so driven by, by learning learning new skills, going for their new career path. It's really just hearing their stories and figuring out how best to support them, whether that's reviewing their resumes or even just like looking at their LinkedIn, or even just having, like Ma Wheat said, like she would come back, every week, every other week, and just be like, what do you think about this on my resume? Or how would you tackle this in LinkedIn? And just, hearing how their journeys have progressed. That's really what keeps me coming back.
No, it definitely sounds like you're making an impact. So thank you so much. So my next question, what do you enjoy most about volunteering with Autumn? I think you kind of touched on it a little bit, but.
I did. But honestly, it's hearing those success stories, or even just having those breakthrough sessions where somebody might have come in and just been really like, oh, I'm dreading looking at this resume, or I'm dreading trying to even think about revamping my LinkedIn profile. And then after the session, they're like, okay, I have tangible, I could do this. I know what I can do to improve what this looks like, or how I can convey my skill set a little bit more strongly. Because they already have the skills. It's just a matter of, polishing it a little bit and having that come through and seeing the confidence boost, or just seeing the relief. That's really the highlight from all of this, the successes, and then just like recognizing that, they're not this handle. It's just a matter of reminding them, that's all.
All right. Thank you so much, Kaylee. And to end this up with you, in what ways, what do you hope results from your volunteer efforts going into 2022?
Yeah, I know that there are more people interested in doing resume reviews. So just helping those folks get onboarded, making sure that we're aligned so that regardless of who you're interacting with resume-wise, like you're getting the same advice. And just continuing to support people so that when they're ready to go for those jobs or those careers, they feel like they have everything that they need, and that they have everything ready, and just really supporting people still. I'm hoping we have even more success stories going into 2022.
And I'm sure we will. And I just want to say thank you so much for everything that you're doing in this recruitment space. Excuse me. And with that, I'm actually going to bring up our next volunteer, Rudy Nippy. Excuse me. Hi, Rudy. How are you doing? I think you're on mute, my friends. Let's see.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes. So I don't know about anyone else, but you're a little, okay. No, you're not frozen anymore. Okay. So hi, Rudy. How are you doing?
I'm doing lovely. Happy Tuesday.
Yes. Happy Tuesday. Thank you so much. So let's get started. Introduce yourself for me and share how you're connected with AUTMHQ.
Absolutely. Actually, Rudy Nippy, I've been at a company now called NI, but formerly National Instruments. So Kaylee and I actually work for the same company. So
Nice.
Hi, Kaylee. Thank you for spending the time with us this evening as well. I've been working for the company for about 16 years, and I've had the pleasure of having a lot of different roles within the company. One of my roles was actually director of recruiting, where I really saw firsthand all the challenges with finding qualified people. understanding also where the company needs to continue to grow the skill set that they need. So that's a little bit about myself.
Love that. Thank you so much. So, why are you an Autumn HQ volunteer? What is your why?
Wow, it's a deep question. I'll try to summarize it quickly. I was born and raised in West Africa, and and I think when I moved to the United States here, I just never understood challenges with race or just finding jobs. I showed up, I went to university, I finished, I graduated, I got into NI. One of the things that I started understanding is that it really takes way more than skills to be successful. And one of the things that I learned very early from a mentor is that actually your technical abilities only makes up about 10% or ultimately your long-term success. And the rest of the 90% is a combination of your image and really but the network you have around you. And frankly, those two things comes from mentorship, comes from really the tribe and people that believe in you. So I actually met Michael about a few years before we actually started working together, and then once I had this aha moment, I actually went back and I actually looked to his application again, and I realized that the biggest thing to me that Autumn does is that they look at people in their eyes and they say, "We believe in you, and we're gonna do everything we can to get you to your next level." I don't know that many organizations that are doing it. That resonated to me, and ultimately that's the reason why I'm here today. So to me, it's just a blessing, and I feel like I should be doing more with Autumn because of the just the belief in the organization.
Well, I thank you for what you're doing now, and also for those gems you just dropped, because it is indeed about your network. It's not just about the skill set you bring to a role. It is literally a culmination of many things. So thank you for dropping that gem.
You're welcome.
So, what do you enjoy most about volunteering with Autumn HQ?
It is again. I'll try to make it simpler, but it's real. It is a comfortable and familiar setting, but it's also a very well-run organization. The very first time I got involved with, I got involved in a little bit more in depth with Autumn was when we did Rethink Austin panel with Michael. And man, the organization was incredibly organized. I was like, this is incredible. Like there was structure. It is very hard to see organization that are strongly run and tightly run like that. So, but the second piece to me is by being real. I mean, it's very grounded on the things that are happening around us. It's very easy for me to come into work, spend 40 hours in conference room or virtual rooms with executives, and you kind of forget what's happening outside of those walls. I remember I told my team one day is that about 10 miles out of us, there are people that are protesting here. But the reality is that Autumn has, what I love about Autumn is there's this combination of what you need to be successful long term, but how you can stay grounded on the needs of your community. And those two things together just make you a better person. So again, I just love the fact that every time I come into one Autumn led activity, I'm gonna walk away, be a little bit more grounded and connected to what's happening in our community. And that's huge.
I love that. Thank you so much. Now I'm like kind of thinking about it in the same way. That's awesome. Thank you so much for putting that into perspective. We definitely want to be grounded. So thank you for that. And then lastly, of course, before we wrap it up with you, in what ways have you grown since? Oh, actually, I'm sorry. That is not the question for you. How do you hope? What do you hope results in your volunteer efforts going into 2022?
I hope that I will grow more. How about that? No. So, wish list. I mean, can I go crazy? Is it
Definitely
at the
with this. We got
boundaries?
time. We got time.
I think I started this story by saying that to be frank, honest, born and raised in West Africa, there's so many challenges that didn't understand about African Americans or just folks that are born here. The challenges are completely different. And then I've been very fortunate and blessed that I've found Autumn and given the opportunity to make a difference, and I will continue to do so. And I want to go back to those roots and say, hey, can we take Autumn global? Can we take Autumn issue to Africa and to other places outside the US where I think that there's a way to do a reverse help, right? I think there is a need. I think there's a need, and there's a way to almost lead back and say, hey, can we take a similar approach? Can we go help other folks there? Would love to do that. I think that I love to do that, and I think I would love to be part of that. And I think that if we can do that, if you can at least start planting the seed in 2022,
Right.
it will help
Look.
me grow. It will help me grow. So I just answered two questions right there.
I was like, it sounds like you're already planting the seed now. So,
Yes.
I mean, you never know. I can definitely see Autumn going global. I mean, it's honestly national. I'm technically based in the DC area. So it's national at least. So I can definitely see Autumn going global. So
It's
thank
actually
you.
interesting enough. I'm actually in DC right now.
Really?
Yeah, I'm visiting family right now. So that's the reason why I have to move. I have to move a couple of times. But yeah, I'm in DC right now. So how funny things are.
Okay, right. Well, thank you so much, Rudy, for
Thank
joining
you.
us.
A pleasure.
But yeah, I'm going to turn it over to Clifford because we have a special interlude.
Well, thank you for welcoming me back. I wanted to respond to Rudy. I think he did this on purpose. He knows we're global. We are all over the world. We have Automites from California to Florida to Massachusetts to New York to Indonesia to Jamaica, Nigeria. And Rudy, I don't know. You were talking about West Africa. Can we please get Cameroon, Automites in Cameroon? That's your next duty between now and the end of the year. You got 2 weeks. But thank you for for always being there when we call upon you. You and the team at NI. Thank you, Kaylee. NI is an extremely strong partner of ours who has come through this year in a very strong way as a partner for the next 4 years and beyond. So we are excited to do that, to have that relationship. I will talk more about some of my thoughts about the conversation, but I couldn't leave that without going unstated. I do want to ask you some questions, however, Tyler.
Ooh.
Is that okay to turn the tables?
Okay,
You were so comfortable querying.
We actually have Fahad here.
Okay, all right. So then
well, now that the cat's out of the bag, you all know that I get to answer questions at the end, so it's fine. But yes, we can bring up Fahad.
Oh, it's a cliffhanger. Cliffhanger. So we'll bring them. We'll bring we'll bring them back and see if we ever get to ask you some questions.
Right. Okay. Well, welcome, Fahad. How are you? And I hope I'm saying your name correctly.
Yeah, that's the right name. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm all right. Doing great.
All right. Thank you for joining us. So first things first, I would love for you to introduce yourself and tell us how you got involved with AUTMHQ.
All right. My name is Fahad Kizito Gumira. I'm a Ugandan by nationality, an immigrant. Yeah, I came to the United States a few years back. I live in Austin, Texas, and I got to join this group from a friend of mine who gave me a link because of some trouble I had. I had some problems. I wanted to put myself together, get a good job, go back to school, but I didn't have a way to start off. All the opportunities I had were all paid for. Like, I needed to put money down so that I can do the programs I wanted to do, the lessons I wanted to get, and the career path I wanted to have. Not until this friend of mine saw something on the internet and was like, "Hey, there's this group in Austin. Can you check on it? I think it might work for you." I looked into their bio and it's something you might like. I jumped on the opportunity, made some more research, they had an email and contacted a lady called Miss Issa.
Yep.
Yeah, that's how we started. And then I'm here.
Love it. So, I'm going to ask you, so now that you're here, what made you actually join the Automite program? What made you take the leap once you got that link?
Okay. What made me take the link? After looking into this organization is biohistory and whatever they do. Mm-hmm. In me, I felt like this is the place I need to be in.
Yeah.
Yeah, because in my background, even before Corona came in, I was enthusiastic about IT.
Mm-hmm.
So I was teaching myself little coding on Python, Kotlin, and JavaScript, things like that. But I didn't know the core value of doing this. I just wanted to do coding. It's in me to do, like, I want to do coding. I want to create stuff. So when I saw this movement and the things they do, it pushed me forward to be like, hey, they might have what I want.
Yeah.
That's when I jumped in. And by the way, before all that started, the first thing I wanted, it was like, they had this opportunity and they were like, we can give you a laptop, because that was my biggest problem. I didn't have a laptop. I was doing everything on my phone, and I signed up for a laptop. After a few days, they called me and I was like, whoo, this is real.
You got a laptop. You got a laptop. It was real.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, they gave me a desktop because they gave me a desktop, and I was like, wow, so these people are real. I looked into more on their programs. I started talking to Miss Issa. She guided me. I told her what I wanted to do. She gave me an option of courses I can do to achieve my goals. Trust me, they've been helpful. They check on you. They answer every question in time. So like, you feel like you've known them for a lot of time, but it's a meantime, you know.
Love that.
Yeah. So they just keep checking on you to make sure you're growing somehow and you're moving forward.
So you feel like there was a real community surrounding you.
Exactly.
Okay.
From day one.
Love it.
Yeah.
So what do you enjoy most about being an Automite? And excuse me for 1 second, because I'm going to come off camera, but I'm listening to you.
All right. So what I love most about being part of this team, or being an Automite, is one, I love the way they check on people. Like, if you join them, they don't let you go. Like, they check on you. They be like, hey, Fahad, there is this opportunity. You're going to check it out. If you want it, go for it. They check on you, like, and you start feeling like, hey, these people care. It's not, I need them, but they care about me more than I would expect. So this is a kind of community you would feel like it's a home far away from home. I can say that, you know. So I just love, that's the one thing I like about them. Even if you have a problem, these are the people you're gonna email at any time, and as staff, you get the information you want, you get the reply you want in time, so that you move forward. I like that. It makes me feel like I belong here. So
that is wonderful. I will ask one question, then I'll hand it back to Tyler. In what ways have you grown as a result of being a part of this community?
Well, first of all, the first course I did was the data analysis course. This is something I didn't even think of doing, but the more I went through these courses they gave me, it gave me a broad picture of saying that you can be whatever you want. If you are just limited by resources. The moment you have the resources, you can grow wings and you can go wherever you want. That's what I learned. So through these courses I've been doing with them, I've developed. That's a side of it. Right now, I'm into a program called Road to Hire program. I joined it through them. And right now, I'm in my second, we are making it to the second month of this program, where they are teaching us to be software developers. And this is my dream. You just don't know how I feel to imagine myself as a junior software engineer or a junior software developer within the next 6 months. That is the joy of my life. I'm seeing my life changing within few months with just one opportunity. It was just one link. One link is changing my life right now.
And with that program that you mentioned, that that's one of our partner organizations. Yeah. There's a job waiting for you at the end, correct? At the end of that 6 months.
You just don't know how I feel.
Yes.
Like this is a dream. People pay money. I've been doing research about these courses and how much they cost. Believe me or not, these are pricey courses you're not gonna find anywhere. So if I got this chance, I consider myself being blessed. I just landed on the right people in the right time at the right moment. That's what I can say.
That is extremely heartwarming. I'll say it this way. What we do is we try to do everything you just outlined. We want to reduce all of the barriers possible to prevent someone from just doing their passion and learning, and then applying what they learn to either get a job or become an entrepreneur. Just take that next step. So to hear it from you and to just see that smile that you just made, it is exactly what we are up to, because this is the first and the most impactful way to change that, not only the industry but the country that we're living in and the globe that we all share. So
I really appreciate you for that.
And just hearing you talk from your own mouth, it warms my heart. So thank you for taking time to share your pathway with us. And we will now bring Tyler back, and we'll have a little quick chat. So Tyler,
before we start, I just want to remind everyone about our job board on the website. He got the job after, going through our pathways. He's getting a job. And just remember that we are helping you all to get access to these roles with these companies, just via a link, literally a link on our website. So remember that.
So what Tyler's mentioning, you can go to our website, AUTMHQ.org. And if you just go make a profile on our job board, you can have access to all of the jobs that are there. So National Instruments, who's been on this call, there are plenty of jobs from National Instruments there. We have plenty of jobs in Big Commerce and many, many other entities hiring right now, organizations hiring right now. So we encourage you to go to that link for free, fill out the information. If you already are searching for a job, if you already have a career and you want to advance, you can do that. If you want training before you get that next job, then you can do some of what we've been talking about with some of our Automites. Is they are passing through some of the hard skills training offerings that we have, and some of those offerings have a job tied to it. So you don't even have to go to our job board after that to get the job that you seek in the training pathway that you want. So we have hard skills training pathways. We have technical and non-technical pathways. We believe that to train someone is not to just teach them a skill, but it's to build this network. It's to build the on-the-job training opportunities. It's to build the networking piece, which is what we're doing now at this event, creating connections that will hopefully outlast this moment, and fully embed and enmesh our Automites and our volunteers in the work that we're doing, the movement, right? That's why we're called Austin Urban Technology Movement. So I'll pause there, and maybe I'll ask one or two questions of Tyler. So I want to sing your praises a little bit right now. Thank you so much for being there whenever we call, and I know we can call quite often, right? So this is the way we get our work done. We rely on volunteers, and Tyler is one. And you've heard from some of our other volunteers during this broadcast. But I want to give Tyler a chance to tell us, why are you so connected with Autumn? I know that you have a history at a company with Michael Ward Jr., our president and CEO. But tell us that and beyond. What really keeps you so invested in supporting the work that Autumn is up to?
Absolutely. So for me, diversity in tech has always been something that I've been passionate about. Yes, I was connected with Michael through Able at Oracle, but I had my own position in an ERG at Oracle with Able, and I was able to create a newsletter that spanned the national chapters of Able, bringing people together to sing the praises of what Black professionals were doing at this tech company. So I started pretty early. I didn't realize back then that there weren't a lot of us in tech, but I've been at a few companies at this point to see for myself that there needs to not only be more access for Black and brown people in tech, but there needs to be equity within tech. So I was blown away by this nonprofit. I jumped at the chance of being able to invest my time because diversity in tech is very important to me. Again, as a Black woman in tech, I'm also a writer, a tech blogger, and everything that I've ever written about has been around diversity in tech, Black people in tech. So that was, again, like this mission really stuck with me personally.
That's wonderful, and I'm glad that you led with that, because I often say, why should the companies limit their talent pool? They don't limit who they sell their products to or deliver their services to. So to me, it's a no-brainer for everyone involved. Point of views, when they're diverse, just make every entity stronger. So I will ask one more question, and then we can go to one more Automite, and then we can come back and close out. Sounds good. What do you see on the horizon for 2022? Because you're embedded with us now, and if you know anything about AUTMHQ, is we change quickly, we grow, we transform. So where do you see yourself and Autumn going in 2022?
Absolutely. I'm trying to get us connected with more partners. That is my goal for 2022. I should probably know how many partners we have currently, but I do not have that number. But I would love to get at least 50%, if not 100% more for 2022 in the bag, paid contracts, using our job board, and not just on the first tier of like partnership with us, but like 3 tiers up. Excuse me, maybe 3 tiers up if we can do that. But I really want to continue to expand Autumn's resources through our partnerships. So that is my plan.
You gave me the chills. So that number, so you know your numbers now is 39. And if you're going up 50%, oh, you got your work cut out for you. I love it. But I love that. I see your drive, your goal, your passion for our communities, and your just kindness to share your time with us. And whenever we need something, it's so great to know that you'll be right there. So thank you from the bottom of our hearts. And I'll turn it back over to you to bring in one more.
Thank you, Clifford. So our last Automite is going to be Renata Estes. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, thanks for having me.
No problem. So let's go ahead and get right into it. If you could just introduce yourself and share how you're connected with AUTMHQ.
So I'm Renata. I'm a freelance website designer for small businesses, organizations, and individuals throughout Austin. And I'm connected through AUTMHQ because they gave me the opportunity to take the Google UX design course through the programs that they offer.
Very nice. Did you finish that up?
No, I want to say at least the first third, like through my course so far.
Very nice. Well, congratulations. I know you'll finish. So why are you joining the Automite program? Was it the UX that brought you here, or what all was it for you?
Yeah. What made me join the Automite program was wanting to get further into tech, wanting to learn more about the user experience in making websites for people, wanting to provide better services, also in wanting to get more into tech, looking for different remote job roles, pursuing being a digital nomad, but wanting a different type of skill set that didn't require me to have to code. So
look, understand it. I am non-technical as they come. So I totally hear you there. I've tried coding boot camps and they just did not stick for me. Yes. So what do you enjoy most about being an Automite?
What I enjoy most is, I want to say the opportunities that I have access to because of this organization. So we did have a mock interview with Microsoft maybe a month ago or so. And as a result of that mock interview, Microsoft had reached out through ISA and was like, we actually want to interview Renata because of just how well our interactions went with their employees. Yeah. And I know that I just don't know how I would have gotten that opportunity otherwise. I know I could have easily applied for a job through Microsoft's website. And of course, it would have gotten lost in the abyss of all the other resumes and things they're receiving. But that direct contact I was able to have because of Autumn, like I really,
Mhm.
really, really do appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's great. I love that you got that opportunity. And again, for anyone watching, she was able to get that opportunity by going to our events page, RSVPing, and actually showing up at an event as her authentic self and getting that. So, congratulations, and I love that for you. And just to wrap this up, in what ways have you grown as a result of being a significant part of the AUTMHQ community?
One of the biggest ways I would say I've grown is because of this UX course that I'm taking, um, how I build websites for people has changed, which is great for me in kind of freelancing and working for myself. My clients like now have better experiences with me because I'm able to better speak to what their user may be experiencing when they use their products or they visit their site or they visit their mobile app or something like that. I can better be like, hey, how can we truly design something that's really going to make someone feel so good about what you're offering that they want to engage with you more and like share the word about you. So that's, I've grown a lot in being like, how can we tell your story and make people really feel good about it?
And that's awesome because honestly, that's how, well, you're in UX, but that is honestly how you sell a product. That's how you get loyalty from that. People remember the experience that they have with you. So I love that that growth has happened for you. But thank you so much, Renata, for joining us this evening. I really appreciated talking to you. And we're actually going to wrap this up for the night, and we're going to bring back Clifford to close us out.
Okay. Thank you very much, Tyler. Thank you, Renata. And I want to sum it up this way. What I heard multiple times from multiple Automites was that Autumn led them to a job or a job interview or employers. So please, when you think of Autumn, think of all the things that we do, all the connections that we've built, all of the relationships that we're making. But ultimately, our goal is to place members of our communities in jobs. And that's what you heard today on this broadcast over and over. So I couldn't be more pleased because that means that we're doing some good work. We're changing families and the trajectories of the incomes of the communities that those families are in. So that is what we're up to. I will just sum up what this 12 Days of Autumn series is about. We have three more events coming, and I will just review what we've already gone through. So we had the first day, which was an introduction to the event series. So we had our board and our partners on there. Then day 2, we had a certain game show host who shall remain nameless. And then we had several different talks. So I won't go through each one. You can go to our website and go rewatch our various events. We do that on purpose because if you couldn't make it to the event, we want this to be there for posterity, right? So you can go check it out. Now, the upcoming events that we have are tomorrow an in-person happy hour. So if you're in the area in Austin, you can go check that out. On Thursday, we have a device distribution. So one of the things that we do is we try and advocate for technology, device, and internet access for members of the community who are shut out from that. So we get devices, we refurbish them, and we distribute them. So please take note of that. If you have devices to donate to us, please contact us at contact@AUTMHQ.org. So what we do is we try and meet every need. I mentioned earlier in the broadcast that we lower barriers, and that's one way to make it easier to get into the tech industry. Because how can you get into the tech superhighway if you can't even get on the highway? You don't have a vehicle or an entity to use the things that you will need either for a job now, remote work, or to just apply for a job. Many entities don't let you do the paper anymore, a paper application. So what I want to say is please always stay tuned to Autumn HQ. We are ever changing. We have a roster of events coming up. Not only this month, we have a space launch, Webb Telescope space event coming up. You can go to our website and check it out on the 22nd and go from that to next month. We have all sorts of events lined up. We have in March, we have our next Rethink Austin, which we had just on Saturday. We had a Rethink Austin where we rethink the trajectory of our city. So please, I hope that these little tidbits that we've given you from the mouths of our volunteers and from our Automites and some of the events that I just mentioned have gotten you excited to go learn more and to go get involved into what we're doing. So with that, Tyler, I'll hand it back to you and I'll let you bring us on home.
Thank you so much, Clifford. Lastly, definitely want to remind you all to subscribe to our newsletter. If you haven't already, you can do that by going to the website. But honestly, I didn't have much else to add. I really enjoyed talking to some of our volunteers and some of our Automites, and I look forward to the work that we're going to continue to do going into 2022. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.